floor is yours, ma'am.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta, a usted, a la Secretaría y a todas las delegaciones presentes. Agradezco esta oportunidad de compartir las razones que me han llevado a aceptar la presentación de mi candidatura al puesto de Directora General de la OMC. Espero que al final de esta sesión me conozcan mejor. Quiero escuchar sus opiniones y preguntas, pues conocer la visión, aspiraciones e intereses de todos es un requerimiento clave para dirigir, bajo la guía de sus miembros, esta gran organización. A fin de comunicarme directamente con todos ustedes, voy a hacer uso del idioma inglés. I first came to Geneva in 1989. A young official, I had the privilege of attending the signing ceremony of Costa Rica's protocol of accession to the GATT. Little did I know at the time that this would be the first leg of a long and exciting career in tradecraft that would result in a continuous involvement in multilateral trade diplomacy. I address the WTO General Council today with respect and humility, but also great pride, aspiring to become the Director General of this most precious institution. I do so in the firm conviction that I have the experience and skill set required to honor such a responsibility. My involvement with this organization has been multifaceted. It has included lead negotiating roles in the Uruguay and Doha rounds, participation in several ministerial conferences, harnessing the WTO's dispute settlement machinery to defend my country's interests, serving as director of a centrally important division of this House, and delivering trade-related capacity building all over the world. My experience is not limited to the multilateral level. I have been actively involved in the negotiation, approval, and implementation of a wide array of trade and investment agreements with a broad and diversified portfolios of countries, big and small, developed and developing, in Costa Rica's neighborhood and beyond. For the last 3 years, I have served as Costa Rica's lead trade advocate at home and abroad in my current capacity as Minister of Foreign Trade. My time and energy are divided between formulating trade policy, promoting two-way investment, and enhancing competitiveness. My own lifespan has coincided with the remarkable transformation of Costa Rica through its closer engagement with the world economy. A country that not long ago exported just a few agricultural commodities, today sells over 43 different products, including computer parts, heart bulbs, embedded software, and yes, coffee and bananas, to 145 nations worldwide. And every day, we work hard to expand our export network to all WTO members. In building Costa Rica's trade platform, enhancing our economy's efficiency, and most importantly, expanding the opportunities for more of our citizens, our aim is to unleash the power of trade to promote inclusive growth and development. Since announcing my candidacy, I have begun to listen and consult with this organization's diverse membership. These discussions, which will intensify in the coming weeks, have been highly informative and inspiring. These discussions have revealed a common desire for convergence. Should you honor me with the mission, my hope would be to serve the process as an honest broker. Let me share with you some of what I have learned from my discussions to date. Trade is a powerful instrument to foster growth and development. We have been privileged to witness in our lifetime the ability of trade to lift millions of individuals out of poverty in so many parts of the world. But trade is equally key in transforming productive structures, increasing productivity, enhancing access to technology, and fostering innovation, particularly when firmly embedded in broader national growth and development strategies. As the preamble of the Marrakesh Agreement clearly states, trade is and should be about raising the standards of living, ensuring full employment and a large and steadily growing volume of real income and effective demand. Let us never forget that trade liberalization is a means to development, not an end in itself. As we gather in Geneva today, the world economy still feels the headwinds of continued imbalances and uncertainty. Such uncertainty weighs on global trading volumes, which grew by a mere 2.5% last year. We need more robust trade growth, not just because such growth will bring greater prosperity, but also because trade can help to generate more and better jobs. We need more trade for all countries. The fact that developing countries account today for about 1/2 of aggregate trade flows is unambiguously good news. Still, the distribution of that growth, welcome as it otherwise is, remains concentrated in too few nations. For many in the African continent and elsewhere, LDCs in particular, the challenge of integrating in the world economy remains daunting. High trade costs and supply-side constraints can durably hamper the ability of firms to take advantage of opportunities, sowing frustration and disenchantment toward the very idea of market opening. The WTO must be ready and properly equipped if it is to assume a key role in unleashing the potential of trade for all. Now, this is the House of Trade. As such, its core mission is twofold: to open markets, including through effective monitoring and whistleblowing, and to design and implement the rules to govern and pacify trade relations among members. It is as simple and as complex as that. The WTO and the GATT before it have been carrying out this dual task very successfully over 3 generations. Ours is a precious institution, supplying an array of global public goods that we must protect and nurture. The Chinese proverb, "May we live in interesting times," is certainly most appropriate for the world we live in today. Few periods in world history have witnessed such a real-time confluence of changes in the political, economic, and technological fields, some of which exert influences way beyond the WTO and trade governance. Others are reshaping the geography and very nature of production and exchange. These include the global fragmentation of international production, the increase in South-South trade and investment activity, and the rise of international trade in services, to cite just some of the most salient trends, bringing with them new questions and challenges for the WTO membership that the WTO membership must contend with. While these changes are taking place at breakneck speed, progress in the Doha round has been painstakingly slow, with negotiations reaching an impasse that could not be resolved in its original format, as recognized by members at MC8. The process that has taken place in Geneva in the past few months inspires in me a renewed sense of optimism, cautious to be sure that the members will be able to produce concrete deliverables in Bali, in trade facilitation, some issues in agriculture, and on special and differential treatment, all topics of particular importance for least developed countries. It is within our collective reach to do so, and this would make for a most welcome and confidence-promoting step forward in multilateral cooperation, reinvigorating the WTO as a negotiating forum. But MC9 is not the end game, and we must continue to chart the best ways of delivering on the Doha mandate. This remains critically important, not least in terms of institutional legitimacy. We are all heavily invested in Doha and have put great efforts into it. Resolution of the DDA's agenda is long overdue, above all as a response to the trade needs of developing and least developed countries. In listening closely to members and working tirelessly to promote convergent viewpoints, the next Director General must have as a central priority to bring closure to the round and ensure that it fulfills its stated aims. Now, in addressing today's new challenges and thinking about the WTO of tomorrow, we need to engage in a candid discussion about an immediate and medium-term agenda. Subjects as relevant and so closely intertwined as the relationship between trade and investment, climate change, natural resources, and global value chains cannot be ignored or left for other institutions or agreements. Not all of these deliberations, of course, need morph into a negotiating agenda. Still, anchoring the WTO centrality in the international trading system today requires that no topic of relevance to the House of Trade, no topic of relevance to the world economy be taboo for the House of Trade. Let me be clear. I do not advocate that we put aside the DDA in favor of new topics, but I do believe that members can both complete the task of today while keeping an eye on tomorrow's challenges. In discussing trade in different formats, a diversified portfolio of trade partnerships is also useful in preventing protectionism, exploiting neighborhood effects, and boosting growth. PTAs can play a role in promoting further market opening, and regional markets are sometimes easier to access for developing countries. They may allow for youthful experimentation with new rules in novel trade-related areas. Moreover, in some instances, they may simply be the proper locus of trade governance, as not everything needs to be defined at the global level. The fact that each WTO member is on average party to 13 PTAs reflects members' willingness to integrate with the aim of promoting trade and investment and to explore all useful means to do so. The downside, of course, lies in the dangers posed by the discrimination that is inherent in these agreements and in their potential to exclude others. The trade marginalization of countries, particularly lesser developed ones, does not bode well for the system and may all too easily exacerbate frictions among nations. In this context, negotiations of plurilateral or critical mass agreements that are open to all members and brought within the realm of the WTO can and should provide a multilaterally friendly means for advancing the trade agenda. Another question that is vividly debated, particularly in academic and civil society circles, relates to whether the WTO needs institutional reform. My own sense is that the WTO system is robust and has in fact evolved incrementally in a number of important areas. One example is the excellent study on trade and employment the WTO and ILO jointly produced on a topic that had proven deeply divisive at the Seattle Ministerial. The same can be said about the workings of the Green Room, the participation of non-state stakeholders in the WTO dispute settlement mechanism, and the vibrant debates held at the WTO public forums, which have opened the House to the outside world as never before. Still, the world keeps evolving, and institutions like firms, workers, and nations need to adapt to such change. Valid questions confront members on how best to adapt the WTO. Here again, I believe there may be a number of specific issues which at the right time, anchored in an adequate level of mutual trust and based in sound analysis, should not escape a thorough airing among members. The WTO is a member-driven organization, and you, the Geneva ambassadors and delegates, are key in making it work on a day-to-day basis. In line with this basic principle, the Director General's task is to lead the institution under the guidance of members, so as to make sure that it delivers on its mandate. Beyond the key roles in market opening and rulemaking, the institution also dispenses important responsibilities in dispute settlement, monitoring and surveillance, capacity building, now significantly enhanced by the Aid for Trade initiative, research and information sharing, interaction with other organizations, and public outreach and advocacy of the values and principles of the organization. The Director General should be ready to work hand in hand with members and the Secretariat in delivering on each of these functions in the best tradition of chief facilitator. I am proud of the opportunity I recently had to work as Director of the Agricultural Division. These were very intense years, bringing us closer than ever to reaching agreement on the modalities for agriculture. At the time, Rev 3 and Rev 4 were the subject of my dreams and nightmares. I was fortunate to get to know firsthand the workings of the Secretariat, and most importantly, to appreciate the professionalism, expertise, and dedication of this cadre of public servants. It would be a great honor to lead this remarkable group of people in a new capacity. Managing the Secretariat is a centrally important function of the Director General. She or he is to take due account of members' needs to maximize value for money, particularly in today's resource-constrained environment, while making sure that this very high-caliber group of professionals remain motivated.
We now have 5 minutes left of this session, so Ms. González, would you like to make a closing statement? The floor is yours.
Madame la Présidente, Messieurs les ambassadeurs, Messieurs les délégués, pour terminer, je souhaite exprimer ma gratitude pour l'occasion qui m'est donnée de partager avec vous mes opinions sur certains des grands défis auxquels fait face notre organisation au moment où elle réfléchit au choix de son nouveau chef. Les défis que nous avons identifiés et dont nous avons parlé aujourd'hui sont des enjeux importants qu'affronte l'économie mondiale. Ils constituent des éléments clés qui militent en faveur d'une gouvernance mondiale plus efficace. La plupart de ces problèmes sont complexes et multiformes. Certains dépassent largement les frontières de la diplomatie commerciale et exige un dialogue et une compréhension mutuelle au-delà des relations commerciales. Et il existe certainement parmi vous, membres de l'OMC, tout comme au sein de la communauté internationale au sens large, une pluralité de points de vue à leur égard. While I do not pretend to have all the answers, my aim today was to share with you my honest assessment of some of the most pressing issues in trade governance that the multilateral community must be prepared to address in the coming months and years. I have given copies of my presentations in the 3 official languages to the Secretariat, and I understand that they will be at the back of the room. While you will have hopefully found some commonality with these views, rooted as they are in conversations that I've been having with many of you and with more to come, it would be presumptuous to expect the entire membership of this organization to agree with every element of my diagnosis or proposed cure. I very much welcome the diversity of views and contrasting perceptions that are today before us. Such diversity, combined with the strong sense of common purpose I detect, form the basis, the starting point for mapping out the forms of collective action required to produce the future of shared prosperity that we all aspire to. In shaping this future, the contribution of each and every one of you, of each and every one of us, will be absolutely essential if we are to reinvigorate and strengthen the WTO's ability to promote inclusive growth and development. I would like to conclude by saying that I believe I am ready to assume the challenge of becoming the Director General, should this be your decision. Throughout my career, my heart has always been with the WTO and the values of fairness and collective action that are embedded in the DNA of multilateralism. I come from a small country, one that has made integration into the world economy a critically important pathway for its development. In doing so, we have shown persistent faith in the multilateral trading system's unique ability to promote and uphold our interests. Costa Rica works hard at being a good international citizen, and I, as a citizen of this great nation, am ready to assume the position of Director General with independence, with passion, and with responsibility to care for, lead, and strengthen this institution for the benefit of its members and the citizens of the world. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.